and thanks for being here today. We've got Katie Milton or Katie Milton Jordan. You have Katie Milton Jordan on LinkedIn. How do you
Yes,
prefer?
Katie Milton Jordan. I like to joke that I moved to Texas and gave myself 3 names.
Okay, I like it. Katie Milton Jordan it is. So if people are looking for you on LinkedIn, we want to look for Katie Milton Jordan. And you're in Kerrville, Texas.
That is correct. Kerrville is a small city about 45 minutes northwest of San Antonio. We're about 2 hours southwest of Austin. So we're right in the heart of the hill country. We're also pretty famous for our wine, Texas wine.
Great. All right, and close to Austin. We love that. And
Yes.
we're July 10th, 2020 here right now. I know Texas is kind of one of the hot states in the mainstream media right now with the COVID outbreak. How are things looking where you are? You guys kind of in shutdown or people out and about?
We have, I feel like it's a fair mix. Different counties are responding differently depending on the level of the cases that they're dealing with. Thankfully, Texas is a rather large state, so there's lots of places for people to get outdoors and have social distance. My husband and I, like I mentioned before we started recording, we're fairly outdoorsy. So we do spend a lot of time out on the boat fishing, and, you know, that's social distancing original.
That's great. That's great. And so tell me a little bit about yourself. I know we were doing these interviews with business intermediaries on our platform, on the BizNexus platform. Maybe if you could just talk a little bit about what that is, what you do, how you got into it. That'd be great.
Yeah, okay. Well, I like to, when I introduce myself, I like to explain to people that I help small business owners, specifically in Texas, sell their company to the perfect buyer, because most sellers, it's important to them to find the right buyer. And I help them do that even faster, with less stress, and have more fun doing it. Unlike a lot of others in the industry who can be narrowly focused on the simple mechanics of a transaction, my background as a certified life coach and a 4th-generation entrepreneur, in my opinion, uniquely positioned me to be able to take an even more holistic view of deal dynamics that determine whether or not a business ultimately transacts successful.
Got it. Okay. 4th-generation entrepreneur. That's
Yeah.
great. I like that. So you can been there, done that.
Yeah, lots of freedom runs through my family.
Yeah, that's great. And so when you're meeting with these business owners, I mean, you're developing these relationships pretty early on, I'd imagine. I mean, how long does it take? Are you finding these business owners when they're ready to sell, or are you working with them to help get them ready to get to that point as you're thinking about who might be a potential buyer? How does that work?
Yeah, we're doing a little bit of both. We like to get introduced to sellers when they're about 3 to 5 years out from exiting their business, because there's a handful of things that actually need to be done and put in place to package the business so that they can maximize the value, the price that they actually realize upon exit. And sometimes business owners don't recognize that. So I encourage people to get in touch with an intermediary sooner rather than later.
Yeah.
And we do also, of course, work with business owners who are ready to sell immediately. And we take them through our packaging process. So we do a little bit of both, but it's always good to be in touch with somebody who can help get you on the right path, so that you can begin with the end in mind. Because a lot of decisions that are made, for example, 3 years before an exit, impact what happens the day that you close on your business.
Yeah. What's the split that you actually see in terms of business owners who prepare like that as they should, and the ones who just kind of panic when they realize they need to sell for some outside reason?
Exactly. That's one of the things that, most business owners don't prepare. And that's, no judgment. Like, as a 4th-generation entrepreneur, I know what it's like to be in the hot seat as the business owner, as the CEO, and constantly putting out fires. So it's not easy, you know,
Yeah.
and I recognize that. And so when I work with business owners, I try to educate them as much as possible, so that they can have a realistic view of the chess pieces that need to be moved around prior to an exit.
Yeah, it's a great way of describing it. Instead of just kicking the important tasks down the road for the urgent, you know, with business
Yeah.
owners, especially small business owners, when it's one owner just doing everything, right?
Yeah.
Trying to plan for the exits just happens last minute. We see that all the time.
Well, I mean, and it can be done because we do see that all the time as well. It's just, you know, they're losing it, they're minimizing their potential. You know, it's
Yeah.
something that could be avoided. They could get, you know, more money for their business. They could, you know, go through the process and have it be less stressful. They could have it be easier. You know, you do what you can with what you have, and we work with what that is.
Yeah, and for you, if you're really priding yourself on finding the better buyers, if you have more time to kind of identify and woo that universe, I think that's going to you know, produce a better outcome.
Exactly.
So how are things looking? I guess 2020 has been a crazy year. Doesn't look like that's going to be changing very much through year end. So why is now a good time to buy or sell? What are you seeing in the market? Maybe just give us kind of a quick overview on what you see at 30,000 feet and then in your local market, just for small business.
Yeah, overall, I believe the industry outlook to be positive, which may sound contradictory to what a lot of experts are saying. Warren Buffett was quoted, I think it was Warren Buffett who was quoted in saying, when the tide goes out, you discover who's been swimming naked.
Yeah.
And I believe that the unpredictability of this market will make it even easier for serious buyers to quickly determine which businesses are worth investing in and which ones don't make the cut. I also think that this is a great opportunity for sellers to be able to immediately see what areas of their business need to be refined or tightened up. And I encourage those sellers to partner with, you know, experts and advisors to help them strengthen that, you know, business foundation. But I sincerely believe that small business ownership is one of the most level playing fields in the world. And the unpredictability that we're witnessing right now in the markets underscores the necessity of being in control of your destiny more than ever before.
Yeah.
So I actually propose that we're going to see even more small business buyers and investors entering the market in the coming months. Specifically sellers, they always ask, you know, when is the proverbial right time to sell? And again, the unpredictability that we're witnessing right now is reminding us that it's important to sell when the tides are not out.
Yeah, exactly.
And you know, I heard a colleague say the best time to sell is when someone wants to buy, and I wholeheartedly agree.
And you can't time a pandemic, right? And you can't time the market, but working with somebody
can't.
like you and being prepared, if you can spend the time, 3 to 5 years, sure, that's ideal, but give it a year, right? Before you even think about selling your business, make sure you engage someone like yourself to be prepared.
Exactly. And anything that you can do in advance, you know, we know that, you know, markets are always going to go up and go down. That's what they do. That's the nature of markets. And any work that you can do in advance of that is just going to give you more options and opportunities if and when, you know, the market goes down.
Yeah. You know, we at BizNexus, we've actually already seen a lot of first-time buyers coming onto the platform, just looking for options, right? Whether they've been, I mean, maybe you've just been quarantined with your family for a long time and you're looking at reevaluating your options. You want to do something different. Get used to that family time. You don't want to really go back into whatever work situation you had before all of this started to unfurl. But then you also just have the sad reality that there are going to be a lot of people who are laid off or just don't have opportunity in the company that they had the opportunity with prior to COVID. And now they're looking for something more entrepreneurial. And I'm amazed continually at how many people don't even think about buying a business as an option into entrepreneurship, right? How many people think about the startup and they don't realize that you can get into a good business with, existing customers, with existing revenues and cash flow for, especially if we continue to have access to capital, which I think we will, get an SBA loan for up to $5 million. When you're in the lower market, you can get into some of these companies at 2 to 3 times cash flow. I mean, that's amazing if you get the right business that's a fit for your skill set.
Yeah, I agree. And, to the point that you just mentioned, one of the things I'd like to share is that if you really knew me, you'd know that I became self-employed for the first time in 2010 when I purchased an existing business.
Yeah.
So I know from personal experience the value to be found in buying a small business and growing it. And so to those folks who may be, corporate refugees or furloughed or laid off or whatever the case may be, check it out. It's a very real opportunity that almost reverses your chances of success compared to a startup.
Yeah, couldn't agree more. And so you're focused on your geographic area, or do you have any national niches? I mean, so if we're looking to find you, how can we find you, right? And what would we find you for? I mean, is your target customer in Texas? Are you working with brick and mortar? Do you have any national niches?
Yes, we do specialize in small business owners in Texas. A little bit about the background of the company. The owner of our firm, Clem Fiore, founded our company after his startup was acquired, and he had a little bit of money to invest. And so he was looking to purchase an existing business and do exactly what we've been discussing. And as he was looking through the marketplace, he recognized there was a huge need there to help buyers buy. And that's why we're called Texas Business Buyers. We do have a network of about 2,500 qualified business investors that are actively looking to purchase businesses in Texas. And so although we do represent seller clients, we have this group of buyer investors that helps direct our path. And so we know what businesses they want us to engage in. And so that's one of the things that makes us unique, that we specialize in. But typically it's premium Main Street businesses that have 5 to 50 employees. We are industry agnostic, so we represent all types of small businesses in the state of Texas.
Okay. Great. And so for our audience, whether they're podcast or on the site watching this as part of your blog article, how can we find you? What's the best way to get a hold of you?
The best way to get in touch, folks can find me at katiemiltonjordan.com or texasbusinessbuyers.com. On my website, katiemiltonjordan.com, you can sign up to receive a free exit plan workbook.
Great. Okay. If you're planning in advance, if you're one of those few owners who's looking down the road towards an exit. Okay. Well, great, Katie. So we'll have all the relevant links in the comments of the podcast and in your blog article. So Katie, thank you for being on the episode.
Thank you for having me here. It's been my pleasure.
All right. Great. Thanks.
Thank you.